Yes.
We're good.
I'm as ready as I can be.
Hi, thank you for coming, Scott. I really appreciate it. If you would please just shout out your name and where you came from and your past, whatever.
Yeah, I'm Scott Barbur. I was born in Portland and moved to Milwaukie when I was 5. Grew up there, went to Rex Putnam High School, and moved away for a few years to go to school and moved back here in '07 and have spent the last 15 years here doing all sorts of fun stuff and getting into all sorts of fun trouble and all that.
Well, that's good, especially since you're a lawyer.
I know, right?
You can get yourself out. So you went to Rex Putnam, and what would be before that? Concord?
I actually went to McLaughlin. That doesn't exist anymore, and View Acres Elementary.
Oh, okay, so, yes.
Yeah, I grew up over on Aldercrest by kind of right behind North Clackamas Park.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm a big supporter of North Clackamas Park.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did that, and what was your favorite part of growing up in Milwaukie?
Oh man, that's a hard one to answer because I don't know if I spent much time here. Oh, you know what it was? Then it's missing now. Was the old Dairy Queen? I used to do yard work as a kid, and then we drive over and get peanut butter parfaits at the Dairy Queen.
What else is work for?
Right. If you can't get your kids to work by bribing them with ice cream.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know the old Dairy Queen. Where was it? Was that where
Foxy's.
Foxy's.
Yeah.
Right.
Wasn't that long ago, was it? 90s?
No, that would have been 90s. Yeah.
Early 90s.
It was out when I moved back in the mid 2000s.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't believe, with the high school right there, that the Dairy Queen couldn't support itself.
It might be a thing where somebody retired and they couldn't have nobody in their family wanted to do it.
There you go. Yeah.
It can't possibly be that they wanted Foxy's there.
Right.
So what about sports? Were you big on sports? Or?
In high school, I was kind of a 3-sport athlete for a while. I was a bad football player. I was a decent wrestler, and I did track and field. I wasn't very good at that either, but I did choir with John Baker over at Putnam High School, and we were always really good over there as well, so that was fun.
A lot of choir places, they took kids places in choir.
Yeah, we went to Vancouver, British Columbia one year. That was kind of fun. Yeah,
that does sound fun. So you were pretty active in your school and all of that.
Yeah.
What about your parents? Where did they come from?
Well, it was a funny story. My mom grew up in Milwaukie, right next door to where I grew up.
Oh.
We bought my great-grandmother's house. She lived right next door to my grandparents. And so then I grew up next door to my grandparents, which was kind of nice because we always had a built-in babysitter.
Sure.
My dad was from Portland, southeast Portland, so we're all very, local.
And what did they do?
My dad was an accountant over at the old, Omark Blunt, now Oregon Chain, I think, or Oregon Tool.
Something like that.
Yeah, my mom was an office manager of some small business.
Okay. You had siblings?
I one sister, yeah. So.
You're lucky. And what about your grandparents?
Well, my grandparents, we're kind of hyper local. It seems like my family, all branches of my family, have been kind of over in the Oregon Northwest area for many generations. Almost everybody from at least 1900s onward, and my dad's family goes back to Oregon Trail days. In fact, he just called me last week and said, "Hey, I just found the next generation of ancestors that we were looking for that came over. They came over on the Applegate Trail down south, and then ended up in down in the Dallas kind of valley
Dallas,
area." Yeah. So my family on all respects have been around for a long time in the Oregon and Southwest Washington area. Yeah. It's very cool. I feel very good connection to
solid,
the pioneer spirit, kind of thing.
Good for you. That's so cool.
I think the thing is we didn't get along with anybody, so we kept moving further away.
I understand. I'm right there with you.
But now 5 generations or so in, there's no further to move. There's just the ocean.
That's great. So what would you say is the best or the worst about growing up in Milwaukee?
I like of growing up or of just kind of living here in general.
Yeah, being here.
I mean, the best part when I was a kid, I guess, we had lots of space to roam around in. But also, I guess the worst, when I was a kid, I always, I wanted to go hang out in the city because it was cool. Milwaukee always felt like really far away. And then when I moved back here as an adult, really appreciated, the more, space to roam around in. And now I live probably, as the crow flies, maybe a mile away from where I grew up, so I kind of joke that I haven't made it very far, at least physically.
I know you used to live on Harrison, but I don't know.
We're over on Lake now, so.
Oh, off of Lake? Are we all living off of Lake?
I think so. I'm like your neighbor or something. So.
The previous person was off of Lake. Everybody's off of Lake.
It's just where all the cool kids hang out.
Of course. Well, let's see. The reason we're doing these interviews is as a celebration to Milwaukee's 120th anniversary as a city.
It's a long time.
Yeah, and they became a city in order to have some say-so over the railroad tracks.
Ah.
Yeah, they were...
they still don't have any say-so over this.
No,
120 years hasn't done much.
They were building little shacks that they were keeping TNT other explosives in there. And by incorporating, the city was able to get rid of those shacks. Because
they would blow up.
Because hobos would come and stay there and light a fire. So it was very, very dangerous. And Mr. Schindler was our first mayor. Did you know anything about that history?
Well, from my time at the museum, I'm familiar with. Now I've been sort of not on the board for a few years. It's starting to wane away. But I remember I might have even played Mr. Schindler in one of Greg's little plays somewhere.
Oh, okay, yeah. You'd make a good Schindler.
I might. I can play a good politician in the movies. Playing one in real life, I'm just right out.
Not so much, yeah. You can't just whip that script out.
No. You always win in the movies.
Yeah. So let's see. What else would you like to say about Milwaukee or your experiences in Milwaukee or
time here?
What I like, I guess really specific to the museum has just the amount of people that have been here for a long time that just carry the history with them. Just like Claire Kupenbender, who the library's named after, and some of my older neighbors over on when I lived over on Harrison, just people that you'd run into and tell you about what Milwaukee used to be, or what was here, and so on and so forth, and how it's evolved over the years. It's great that it's if you're in Portland, it's so big that you don't really have connection to everything. And Milwaukee is you can know the mayor, and you can know you see these people who make things run, and you can have a real big connection to it.
And influence.
And so it's really nice. And it's just cool. It's a town that's been here a long time. I mean, it's older than Portland. Maybe not incorporated, but I think it's been situated since longer than that.
This was the original big port.
Yeah. So that's what I really like. It still has maintained. It's right next door to big metropolis of Portland, and part of that metropolis, it's maintained its sort of distinct feel, and just you got these people who just kind of know what's going on, and the fact that we even have a little history museum that keeps some of that is fantastic.
And thanks for being a part of that.
Yeah. It's been a fun ride, and I was just talking to some folks outside of the picnic here about they were talking about the files in these files, and I was like, oh, you guys weren't here in the days that these were all in binders in a little tiny room, and we went through all that, and we've done a lot in the last decade at the museum. It's nice that there's people that care enough to make it happen.
Sure.
So
it is. Anything else?
No, just
you want to
say happy birthday?
Yeah, if you would please.
Happy birthday.
say happy birthday to Milwaukie
Oh,
for their
yeah.
120th birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Milwaukie. Happy 120th.
All right.
Let's keep it going.
I like it.
Thank